Hare Krishna. Okay, so sorry about yesterday, some last minute stuff. But we've read till 48, which is an interesting aspect of Lord Yamaraj in the form of a boy, giving some fantastic knowledge, especially to all the people who are lamenting. And interestingly, one very important point he makes is he tells the people that, oh, the body is still here. You are in love with the body, right? So why are you crying? Yeah. Uh, so that was the big takeaway for me yesterday when I was reading subsequently. That the entire thought process here, as explained by Yamaraj, is that as a spirit soul, actually, we are totally unconnected with whatever is happening with the body. Yeah, and anything that is happening in the body, therefore, we have to really understand is actually an illusion. And that is the point that he is making in terms of all the distresses and all the happinesses that we are getting. They are temporary illusions, is the point that he is making. Because if you think from a spirit soul's perspective, the spirit soul is Satchidananda. Yeah, is always eternally blissful. And the body is just made of chemicals, isn't it? So the body, because the body is made of chemicals, it doesn't feel anything good or bad. And if the soul is, Satchidananda, always very happy, then also it doesn't feel anything bad. So who is the one who's feeling bad? Who is the one who's feeling distressed here? So that is, he is making that point that this is just an illusion. Actually, there is nobody who is in distress. It is only the feeling. You are thinking that you are the body, and therefore you are feeling this distress. And that is the awakening that Yamaraj is trying to do here. In fact, interestingly, in the 46 or 47 shloka, Shukadeva Goswami stops calling him a boy. He calls him Yamaraj said, isn't it? If you noticed yesterday, just let's look at that one again. I think 46th verse or something. 44th verse. He says, Yamraja continued. Isn't it? The story, in that story, Shukadeva Goswami, or I don't know, Hiranyakashipu, one of them, clearly say it's not the boy who is speaking, but Yamraj is now speaking and giving this knowledge about that if you're in a bodily consciousness, you are in illusion, and therefore he comes to this conclusion in 49. Let's see what he says here in this shloka. Yeah, Soumya Mataji can read this one.
Krishna. अथ नित्यमनित्यं वा नेह शोचन्ति तद्विदः नान्यथा शक्यते कर्तुं स्वभावशोचमामिति.
Very nice.
Those who have full knowledge of self-realization, who know very well that the spirit soul is eternal, whereas the body is perishable, are not overwhelmed by lamentation. But persons who lack the knowledge of self-realization certainly lament. Therefore, it is difficult to educate a person in illusion.
Yeah, so beautiful. That one who is sleeping actually, yeah, you can wake him up. But one who is pretending to sleep is very difficult to wake him up, isn't it? So same point here is made that if somebody is actually in ignorance, you can give him knowledge. But if somebody is in illusion and deliberately not trying to understand this, then it is difficult. Yeah. So you, even though you know I am not the body, you still are kind of forcing yourself to know, think I am the body, I am the body. Then it is difficult for. So first of all, you have to understand I am not the body. Then automatically the self-realization comes. And therefore, here he says that those who are self-realized, who know very well that the spirit soul is eternal, whereas the body is perishable, are not overwhelmed by lamentation. Same conclusion Lord Krishna also gives in the second chapter, when he says that after a lot of experimentation, the wise have understood what that the spirit soul is eternal and that body is temporary. Yeah, if you remember, I think it was somewhere in the second chapter. I don't remember the exact verse. But that is one conclusion which Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna after he explains the concept of the spirit soul. Yeah, I think 48 or 49, 2.48, 49, I can't remember the exact one, where he talks about the eternality of the spirit soul and the temporariness of the material body. Same point here. Hiranyakashipu, through the story of Yamraj, is telling this particular point. Yeah, therefore, those who lack knowledge of self-realization certainly lament. Therefore, any lamentation, as soon as we are into any kind of lamentation, we should know that we are in the bodily consciousness. Because only in the bodily consciousness, those persons who are in bodily consciousness will lament. All others who are not in bodily consciousness or have evolved, yeah, will not lament. They will know that this is just temporary, it's just happening, it's like an illusion, it's like a dream, and I'm going to come out of it. Here Srila Prabhupada refers to the aspect of impermanence, and he talks about the Mimamsa philosophers. There's a lineage of philosophers who are Karma Mimamsa, that's what they're talking about. And they talk about Nitya and Anitya. Nitya is that which is permanent, Anitya that which is impermanent. And therefore, Atma is considered as Nitya, whereas the body is considered Anitya. And those who do not understand this aspect, they will continue to lament as Shudras. Shudra quality is that of lamentation. That's the point. Yeah, Shrotavyadini. So there is this second canto verse. Srila Prabhupada reminds us. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nanam Shanti Sahasrashah Apashyatam Atmatattvam Gruheshu Gruhamedinam. That those who are materially engrossed are blind to the knowledge of the ultimate truth. What is the ultimate truth? That apashyatam atma tattvam. They are unaware of the aspect of the spirit soul, and therefore many of the ordinary people who do not believe or this particular aspect do not want to understand this particular aspect will eternally be in lamentation, which means they will keep on suffering. Okay, next shloka. Let's see what does he say, Prashant Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Lubdhako vipine kaschit pakshinam nirmitontakaha vitatya jalam vidadhe tatra pralobhayan.
Very nice.
There was once a hunter who lured birds with food and captured them after spreading a net. He lived as if appointed by death, personified as the killer of the birds.
Yeah, so this is another incident that Yamraja now, within that particular story, Yamraj is now telling one more story. The boy is telling one more story. Let's see what does he have to say. He talks about a hunter spreading a net to catch birds. Okay, let's read further. Yeah, Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna. कुलिङ्गमिथुनं तत्र विचरत् समदृश्यत तयो कुलिङ्गी सहसा लुब्धकेन प्रलोभिता.
Very nice.
Translation. While wandering in the forest, the hunter saw a pair of Kulinga birds. Of the two, the female was captivated by the hunter's lure. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so hunter is luring those two birds. Yes, Srinath Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Sa sajjata sichastantriyam mahishya kalayantrita kulingastam tatha pannam nirikshya vrushadhukhitaha snehadakalpa kripanam paryadevayat.
Very nice.
O queens of Suyajna, O queens of Suyajna, the male Kulinga bird, seeing his wife put into the greatest danger in the grip of providence, became very unhappy. Because of affection, the poor bird, being unable to release her, began to lament for his wife.
So the female bird is caught. Yeah, and male bird is now understanding, oh, looks like this is a trap and now it's going to be problematic. And therefore here the boy is addressing the queens, saying that this is what has happened. Let's read further. Yeah, Niti Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Aho akaruno devah striya karunaya vibhuh kripanam mamuna shochantaya deenaya kim karishyati.
Very nice.
Translation: Alas, how merciless is Providence! My wife, unable to be held by anyone, is in such an awkward position and lamenting for me. What will Providence gain by taking away this poor bird? What will be the profit?
So the male, like everybody, like normal people, is thinking, why me? That is the lamentation. Why me? Why my wife? Why is this thing happening to me? Okay, let's read further. Yeah, Pawan Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्णा कामः नायतु मे मम देवः किम अर्धात्
Ardhenatmano.
किम अर्धेनात्मनो हि मे दिनेन जीवता दुःख मनेन विधुरायुषा.
Very nice, very nice.
Translation: If unkind providence takes away my wife, who is half my body, why should he not take me also? What is the use of my living with half of my body, bereaved by loss of my wife? What shall I gain in this way? Hare
So
Krishna.
the male is lamenting and lamenting. What can I do in this particular case? Okay, let's read further. Yeah, Rashmi Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण कथं त्व अजात पक्षांस्तान् मात्रहीनान् बिब्बमर्यहं मन्दभाग्यया प्रतीक्षन्ते नीडे मे मातरं प्रजः.
Very nice.
The unfortunate baby birds, bereft of their mother, are waiting in the nest for her to feed them. They are still very small and have not yet grown their wings. How shall I be able to maintain them? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, as always, like we see in any, मेरे बच्चों का क्या होगा? Is the standard lamentation that every parent has. Even though the bacha might be fully grown, still they are bachas in the eyes of the parents, and the dependence the parents feel will never go away. Here also, of course, here in this case, as is mentioned, they are very young children, and therefore, therefore the lamentation is more. Srila Prabhupada here talks about one aspect about which also comes in the previous couple of shlokas, that if the Lord wants to protect, then nobody can do any harm, and if the Lord wants to kill anybody, then nobody can save. What is that? Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke. Now, so the same point here, Srila Prabhupada is talking about that if the Lord wants to protect, then the small unprotected babies will also be taken care. So if a person who knows this aspect, Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke, if they are firmly in belief of this, they will never be in lamentation. They will never feel, oh, even if I am not there, yeah, Lord Krishna will take care. Yeah, that is the belief that somebody. But if somebody does not have this belief, then there is a lot of suffering. Because here that's what he says. The real fact is that if the Supreme Personality of God protects one, even though one may be motherless or fatherless, one can be maintained by the goodwill of the Lord. Yeah, so that is the point. But if somebody does not believe this, then even if the Lord gives protection, now the other guy will still keep on suffering, thinking there is no protection. Oh, I'm orphan, I'm anath, I'm not. Even though the Lord is protecting, because he does not believe it, he will still suffer in spite of the presence The Lord says the Supreme Lord does not give one protection, one must suffer in spite of the presence of his father and mother also. So the other angle also is there. That there are many children, even the father and mother, they still the kids are suffering. So it's not that it is in your hands or it is in the father mother's hands. It's the Supreme Lord and your karma and kal which is in control here. Here another example Srila Prabhupada gives that is that of a patient who dies in spite of a good physician and good medicine. Thus, finally, what is the end game? End game is that without protection of the Lord, one cannot live. That is it. So, Rakhe Krishna Mareke is the point here. Yeah, this is another aspect which Srila Prabhupada talks about how even in the Kali Yuga, how much the Kali Yuga has progressed already. That even now, I mean, he talks about abortion, how father and mother are so cruel that they are killing their child even within the womb. And there's so much of debate happening even in the US, Ruth versus what is that? Wade. The very famous case which talks about whether the embryo is living or not living. Yeah, and that is the kind of debate people are having. Even though Srila Prabhupada says their scientific knowledge is so advanced that they think that within the egg, the embryo, there is no life. What is the use of this such kind of advancement? That's what Srila Prabhupada is. They're getting Nobel prizes for advancement in chemical evolution because they think whatever the embryo is nothing but a set of chemicals. That is the point, and therefore he makes this point. But if chemical combinations are the source of life, why don't the scientists manufacture something like an egg through chemistry and put it in an incubator so that a chicken will come out? So egg itself cannot be created. Of course, nowadays we talk about the IVF process, but that still is in the Lord's hand because there are so many IVF insertions that happen, but the child does not come in. So it's purely about the soul entering that particular correct combination at that particular point of time. If the combination is still correct, the soul might not enter. Like we've also experienced as childhood in our biology experiment, we used to put the seeds, right? Yeah, and if you put 5 seeds, not all 5 sprout. There'll be 1 or 2 that might sprout, or many times not any 5 of them will sprout, like that. So that is the knowledge. People are thinking, oh, I've become God because I've done now this particular process, but that is not the case. There is always the spirit soul and the hand of Lord, which is very, very critical and important. Okay, let's see what does he further have to talk about. Yeah, Parvati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Guruji. Evam kulingam vilapantamarat priya viyogaaturam ashrukantam sayevatam shakunikah sharena vivyada kala prahito vilinah.
Very nice.
Because of the loss of his wife, the Kulinga bird lamented with tears in his eyes. Meanwhile, following the dictations of mature time, the hunter, who was very carefully hidden in the distance, released his arrow, which pierced the body of the Kulinga bird and killed him.
The Kulinga bird was the real target here. Yeah, and even though he's sitting there lamenting for the wife, it's actually he who has got killed by the hunter. Let's see further what happens. Yeah, Anadi can read.
एवं यूयमपश्यन्त आत्मापायमबुद्धयः नैनं प्राप्स्यथ शोचन्तः पतिं वर्षशतैरपि. Thus Yamraj, in the guise of a small boy, told all the queens, "You are all so foolish that you lament but do not see your own death. afflicted by a poor fund of knowledge. You do not know that even if you lament for your dead husband for hundreds of years, you will not get him back alive. And in the meantime, your lives will be finished.
Basically, just as the Kulinga bird was killed by the arrow, he was sitting and lamenting for his wife, thinking his wife is going to get killed. But in the meanwhile, he himself gets killed. Yeah, and that is the point here. Yamraj, in the guise of a boy, is telling to all the queens, you're lamenting and lamenting and lamenting, but this is of no use because the king is not going to come back, and B, your death is around the corner. It's not very far off. And of course, he might be also referring to the Sati Pratha. But even though there is no Sati, there will still be death at some point of time. That is the point. So interestingly, Yamraj and Maharaja Yudhishthir's story, Srila Prabhupada brings it here in the Vanaparva when, after the what is that the Lakshagruha incident, the Pandavas and Kunti, they have run away into the forest, and in the forest they come across a small pond where Kunti Maharani says, I want bit of water. And then when Nakula, the youngest, goes, the yaksha of the pond, he says, no, you cannot drink the water unless you answer my questions. And Nakula says, Kalivali, I can do whatever I want. He takes the water, and as soon as he takes the water, he dies. Like that, every one of the Pandavas goes except last Yudhishthira, who goes, and that's the fantastic. I don't know if you have read the Mahabharata, but there is an amazing discussion between the Yaksha and Maharaja Yudhishthira. And Yaksha is nothing but Yamraj in that particular form. And there is this discussion, and this one comes in Ahani Ahani Bhutani, very famous shloka that Maharaja Yudhishthir is asked that what is the most astonishing and wonderful thing in the world, and this is what he says, the most ascharya, most astonishing thing in the world is this. What is that? Ahani ahani bhutani gacchanti yamalayam shesha sthavaram icchanti kim ascharya mataparam. Now that hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, but the foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself to be deathless and never prepares for death. Now, that is the most astonishing thing. This is the most wonderful thing in the world. That's what he answers in that particular. And that's what Srila Prabhupada also laments in this particular point. Of course, laments from a spiritual angle. That all these, every one of us, the entire thought process in the Western concept or how will I make this body happy? How will I give much more and more ease to my body? How will I make, have more and more sense enjoyment? That is the entire planning. But unfortunately, this body is temporary, and all this planning is for no use, because what's going to happen? It's going to all go away. And that's what he says. So-called scientists are making various plans by which living entities in future can live forever. But while they're thus pursuing such scientific knowledge, Yamaraja in due course of time will take them away from their business of so-called research. That's the amazing point he makes. And that's what the Yamraj as the boy is telling us here, and Hiranyakashipu is back into the picture, and we will see what he has to say in our session tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Okay, any other comment or thought as we come to a close for the day? Yeah, Nidhi Mataji, go ahead.
Prabhuji, this one thought process is that, like, this scientists who are making so many types of new things, inventions. They are doing like this IVF technology itself. So this is also one kind of way Lord's mercy only, because it gives opportunity to many distressed souls, that must be waiting for birth, and so that they can just improve their cycle and again go return back to Godhead. So in this way,
Sorry,
it
how
just
will they return go back to Godhead if they get
no,
an
but
IVF successful?
not exactly back to Godhead, but at least they can, improvise their karmas by, again coming back, because there might be some distressed souls that who are not
No, they
getting.
might do more bad karmas also, no?
Yeah, they might, but then at least they get an opportunity. Or isn't this a way to create more?
Opportunities, enough opportunities are there. We've had 2 billion opportunities till now, and prior in the previous universe, we had probably another 10 billion opportunities. I don't
Yeah.
think we are purely sense, in a way, it is selfishness, I would say. Also, of course, it's good. The people want happiness, people want the pursuit of happiness. But the real thing is they are pursuing temporary happiness. And just like we saw, right, in this previous case, just now we saw even the Bhagavatam itself, the story of what is that king? I forgot his name. His son dies by poisoning of the Chitraketu's son. He also must have got IVF only, I'm sure, by whatever sage who does that. But finally, what happens? So we don't know how long that is going to. So many IVFs don't fructify. I mean, I know a couple of friends who have tried, but they've not had their IVF successful. So I think finally we are in the pursuit of happiness. One thing that can be definitely looked at is, what will I gain if I do this IVF? Will whoever comes in the world, will I take him back to Godhead? Then maybe that effort is in the real sense. Otherwise, it is just temporary happiness that we are trying to pursue, thinking, oh, if I have a son or daughter, then I will be happy. So it's purely from that sense gratification itself. And people are calling me names, people are calling me this, therefore I want to have a son or daughter. That also is an angle. It's purely from an ego perspective many times. But finally, see, not only about why IVF, everything else we are in the pursuit of happiness, right? Sense gratification only, right? Why
That's
only
right.
take that particular example, isn't
Everything
it?
available. It's
Everything for a person who does not know spirituality, everything is sense gratification from the perspective that I want to enjoy my senses, isn't it? Yeah, so like that. So yeah, unfortunately, that does not result in sense gratification every time, or even if it comes in, that sense gratification is temporary.
Yeah,
So,
Prabhuji,
yeah.
like Pandus, this Kunti Mata and Madhuri, Mataji, they all had IVF only at that time, because
Correct, in that sense.
was not in a state to give birth. So by dharma, like they had children from different demigods. So that was also IVF.
Yeah, but they were pure devotees because they knew that whoever is coming is also, we want to make them devotees also in that sense. So yeah, if that is the intent, then it is good. Then it is akarma. But I don't think everybody has that intent in that sense, truly, in the true sense. Yeah, Priya Mataji had a point?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have that list of questions and answers.
Yeah, from
Mahabharata.
Yaksha and Mahabharata.
Yes. They are superb questions and answers, Prabhuji.
Amazing questions.
The first question itself is, what makes sun shine every day?
Oh.
The answer is the power of Brahman.
The Lord. Yes, very nice.
Yes, it goes on to.
It's an amazing list. Yeah. It's superb. It's very nice philosophy.
What is that? What is that abandoning which man can becomes loved by all? Pride.
Pride when you abandon. Very nice.
So I will share it, Prabhuji. This.
Yeah. Very nice. It's good to read again. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Prashant, Prabhuji, go ahead.
In fact, two of the best portions of Mahabharata were all narrated by Yamadharma only, because Yaksha is Yamadharma's answer, and even Yudhishthira is Yamaraj Hamsa, and even Vidura Niti, Vidura is Yamaraj Hamsa.
Vidura is Yamaraj
Hamsa. Can teach us dharma.
Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. Yes, yes. And Dharmaraj, that's why it's called Dharmaraj Yudhishthir, right? Because of the of everything aspect. Hare Krishna. Okay, great. Let's then close with closing prayers. Yeah, Chaya Mataji can do closing prayers.
हरे कृष्ण अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवो मत्तः सर्वप्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भावसमन्विता मच्चिता मद्गतप्राणा बोधयन्तः परस्परं कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगतं येन मापुयान्ति ते तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थमहं ज्ञानजं तमः नाश्याम्यात्म भावस्थो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता अहमेवासमेवाग्रे नान्यद् यत् सत्सत्परं पश्चादहं यदेतच्च यो अविशेषत सोऽस्म्यहं ऋते अर्थ यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः यथा महन्ति भूतानि भूतेश्चावचेष्वनु प्रविष्टान्यप्रविष्टानि तथा तेषु न तेष्वहम् एतावदेव जिज्ञास्यं तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः अन्वयव्यतिरेकाभ्यां यत् स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Purandara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
जय
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, everyone.